Hello everyone, this is Highlander from MTG Cardsmith doing another custom Magic the Gathering card review. And I have a special guest with me today, Island.
Hey everybody.
Island is here to keep me in check and make sure I don't hate on anime too hard. Today we are reviewing a card by BT9154. This is a card called Ayunda Risu Nonstop Nuts. What do you think about that name?
I mean it's a VTuber. I don't know about the Nonstop Nuts. I've never watched or seen anything from this VTuber. I just know it's a VTuber.
Well, she's a squirrel, so
She's a squirrel girl,
but
yeah.
again, I think this should be human squirrel. It's the same thing. Like, she's not a squirrel. She's a human squirrel.
Yeah. I mean it opens up more card effects, so you might as well,
Yeah.
right?
All right. So this is a one green for a 1/1. Here's another cumulative upkeep. Create a nut. It's an artifact with vanishing 2, and when you sacrifice this artifact, if it had no time counters on it, search your library for a forest card, put that card into your hand, then shuffle your library. Okay, that's kind of cute.
I think it should be like find a nut, unless they're implying that she like births these nuts, which is not
well,
what squirrels do. So
well, what this really should say is create a nut token. Um,
yeah, yeah, probably.
that's how you would word this, I think.
So it's
Anyway,
like go fetch a forest.
well, in 2 turns. So the idea is that you create this nut token, and then in 2 turns you lose the nut and it grows into a forest. That's kind of the idea.
Okay.
So flavorful. I like that. It's a little complex what's going on here,
hmm
especially like once you're now attacking cumulative upkeep on top of it. But I think that's kind of an interesting little mechanic. It's like you get a little nut in 2 turns you get a forest, and then we have this ability here, landfall. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, create a 1/1 green squirrel creature token. So this card gets out of hand, basically, right?
So
So
like it starts this after 2 turns you start to get a lot
yeah,
uh
so okay,
even
so
before 2 turns actually because you're landing every turn if you're on curve, right? Like if you're getting lucky.
yeah,
Plus in 2 turns you're gonna start to get does it let you put into the battlefield? No, it puts it into your hand. So it doesn't you don't get like
okay,
double land one
that is
turn.
true. That's a very very good point. That's a very very good point. Um, Now you obviously want to play this with cards that let you play more lands a turn. There are plenty of those in green, but that's a very good point. You don't put the forest on the battlefield; you put it in your library. So, okay, so like let's just think about this from a play pattern standpoint. Okay, so you play her on turn 2. Okay, she doesn't do anything. Next turn, you get a nut, and you play a land, and you get a squirrel. Okay, and now you're basically kind of you've paid for the card essentially. Like you're kind of on
Yeah.
on on curve there, or on like your value's like about equal there. Okay, because otherwise she's a little weak. And then next turn you create 2 nuts, get another squirrel. So now you've got 2 squirrels.
Oh, is that how cumulative upkeep works? You
Yeah,
start to create
that's
oh
right.
sh
The turn after that you get 3 more nuts. So now you have
7?
six nuts, but you sacrifice one of them and get a land to guarantee that you get another squirrel. So now you have a 4/4 squirrel, right? The turn after that, you make 4 nuts and get 2 forests. The turn after that, you make 5 nuts and get 3 forests. The turn after that, you make 6 nuts and get 4 forests. So this thing it starts to get pretty out of hand as far as like getting forests out of your deck. But you are
Yeah.
still limited by the number of lands you could play. Um, so like, you know, I,
Bad.
I,
It's real easy to remove because it's just a 1/1.
yeah. See, I think that's fine though. I don't mind that, especially
No,
because
yeah,
because
considering what it does.
yeah. So another thing you should know about Commander is when your commander dies, it goes back in your command zone, so you can actually replay it again. But
Oh,
every
okay.
time that happens, it costs 2 more. So if they kill this, you have to pay 4 for it next time, and if they kill that, you have to pay 6 for it. So that's just something to be aware of. Now, here's my thing with this card is again like this is like a lot of the other cards we've seen. The flavor's great and the idea here is really cool, but the execution's just a little off for me. And the reason is that like you like you're getting like crazy out of control with nuts, basically, right? Like at some point you're just gonna have so many nuts. I mean, I know it's nonstop
Yeah.
nuts. You're just gonna have so
What
many
it?
nuts, and you're gonna have so many forests, but you're still kind of like limited by the number of lands you can play. So eventually,
Mhm.
you're just gonna be like your hand's just gonna be full of forests, and you're gonna end up like discarding them. Um, and
What if it didn't have vanishing too, and it didn't scale? So like, get rid of cumulative upkeep, and it was just in your upkeep phase you create one nut,
yeah, I
and
mean,
that way it's like flat, like the curve is flat, it doesn't start to get insane, but also you get it. You don't have to wait 2 turns.
oh no, I totally agree. Something like that, or like you could do that, or if you wanted it to scale, you could just give it a cost, right? You could say like pay like pay 1 green, make a nut, for example. I mean, I don't know if that's the right cost, but maybe like
Yeah.
maybe like a 1 and a green. So you like pay her cost, right? And you create a nut, and that means that in 2 turns you're getting a land. But then on turn 4 you can make 2 nuts. On turn 6 you can make 3 nuts, right? And so like you're not because like imagine I just imagine playing this card and like trying to keep track of how many nuts you have and like where like what like which one is at which stage like which nuts are about to go away and which nuts are halfway
Yeah,
there.
exactly.
It's like such a pain in the butt to like just keep track of what's going on with this card. I would love to see it a little bit simpler. As far as like I really like the idea. I like where like a nut grows into a forest. I think that's really neat.
And
Um,
technically, you have to shuffle your library and then search again. So you can't even get like all your forests in one go. You have to if you
that's
follow the card, you have to like
that's true. Oh,
shuffle your library, then search again for a forest, shuffle your library, then search.
that's completely true. I mean, so if you're playing casually, that doesn't matter. But like, if you were playing this card in a tournament setting, you would literally have to do that. You'd have to like create 5 nuts or sacrifice 5 nuts, and then for like 5 times you have to go get a forest in your library, shuffle, go get a forest, shuffle, go get a forest, shuffle, go get a forest, shuffle. Oh, that sounds terrible. Um, yeah, so like
I think there's some good ideas here though.
yes, there are. I totally agree. There's
It's
some.
for a low cost card, like it's hard. You know, you don't want to make them too strong, but like I think this is like low cost, low attack and defense, but has a cool mechanic.
Yes, I completely agree with you. I like the idea behind this card, but
I guess it suits green as well because like it's like it feels like it's like it just gets out of hand very fast.
yeah, true,
Lots of
true.
creatures.
Very true. So yeah, I mean, another way you could go about this card and not make it so like uh, difficult to sort of keep track of is you could just have cumulative upkeep, search your library uh, for like and search your library for that many forests and then put them in your hand and shuffle.
Part of me
So
wonders if we can make like the nuts into like pseudo forests somehow without the library part at all.
oh, just like create a forest token or something.
Create like a token that has you can tap or you can turn it into a squirrel maybe. I don't know.
No, I could see
Uh,
that. So like you create like you so you could do something like uh yeah. So I guess
That makes it ramp up way faster though, because then you're getting like a fake land, but you can also put down a real land. So it's
yeah. I mean
like
you could create like land tokens. That's like something you could do to so you don't have to like shuffle your library constantly.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, there's basically a lot of ways you could go with this. Like again, I like the nut flavor with vanishing a lot, but like I would love a card, a simple card that was just like if there was just a card that was just called Acorn or Nut or something, and it costs like 1 green, and it's an artifact with vanishing 2, and when it vanishes, you go get a land and put it onto the battlefield or
Yeah,
something like that.
that would be pretty
Like that
nice.
would be a really nice like flavorful card, right? I think that's cool. But here we're going nonstop nuts, and it's just too nuts for me. This is just too many nuts. So yeah, again, there's a lot of ways you go about this, but I really like the idea behind this card. I like You know, I like the flavor a lot. Again, art doesn't fit Magic, so I have to take a point off for that. So I have to give this one another 3 out of 5. You know,
Yeah, same.
yeah, it's you know all of these cards are like really close to getting like good scores, but they're just a little off. So um, yeah. So yeah, anyway, that's our review of Ayunda Risu Nonstop Nuts.